Wages and Salaries Commission says it has successfully completed drafting modalities for the payment of the cost of living allowances (COLA) for all public sector workers. CEO Ben Arthur tells JoyNews government is required to shortly announce when workers can begin to receive the allowance in their accounts. Demands for COLA resulted in weeks of labour agitation and industrial actions, forcing government to commit to paying the workers some 15% of their basic salaries. Mr. Arthur has been speaking to JoyNews on the sidelines of the signing of a memorandum of understanding with the Internal Audit Agency to check payroll fraud.
MOU with IA is premised on the fact that Fair Wages is mandated to do payroll monitoring. But knowing our size and knowing very well that we are not in every office, especially the public offices, we are not having desks everywhere. But Internal Audit Agency has units in almost all the public sector institutions. So we're collaborating with them for them to share relevant information with us, for us to do same. And not only that, anytime they are able to discover anomalies, especially as to the sources of pay structure and who has mandated what, we should be able to share relevant information and take the appropriate action. We are doing this to serve Mother Ghana and to ensure that we'll be able to protect the public purse. That's the main reason behind this collaboration. We will not stop here. We are currently in talks with SIGA, and eventually we'll get to the audit service and try and sign similar MOUs with them to collaborate. The idea of collaboration is golden in this matter because working in silos has not helped. We have other institutions with similar mandates along certain lines. The time has come for us to collaborate and to ensure that the right things are done.
And the biggest issue when you talk about payroll mostly has to do with people talking about payroll fraud and ghost names on payroll and all those things. Are those things that we can practically expect some changes to be made to us in terms of this particular
Definitely. This MOU will go a long way in curbing that canker, if I should put it that way. We admit there are times that we detect ghost names, but working together, such as we have agreed to do, will go a long way to eliminating ghost workers on government payroll. With a frequent monitoring, I'm sure that we'll be able to undertake this exercise effectively.
I mean, quite recently, we know the Commission has been intervening in some labour issues, the COLA and all those issues. What's the latest on that?
The latest is that that agreement still stands, and we are certain that government will implement it. So nobody should have doubts in their minds. As soon as possible, we will communicate to you later on this, but we promise that it will be effective from July. Effective means that that is when the implementation starts. Realizing the money in your pocket, we are working on the schedule, and I'm sure maybe in about 2 weeks to 3 weeks' time, government will come up public with the exact date that you have it in your pocket, but it will be very soon.
The last time you said you were drafting some modalities, has that been completed?
That has been done, and it has to be communicated to organized labor. So I don't want to use this forum to break the news.
So it's evident now that the workers have not received the cost of living allowances. But what's their take on this? Bernard J. is General Secretary of the Public Services Workers Union. In fact, they were lacing their boots to embark on an industrial action before that intervention by the Ministry of Labour Relations. So, Bernard, what's your reaction to this? I need to even confirm from you, it's past July. So are you able to confirm or deny if you've received that 15% allowance that you were asking government?
All right, sorry about that. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your cherished listeners and viewers. Yes, I can confirm that we have not yet received the COLA as agreed, the 15%. It could not be paid in July because, and it's understandable, because at the time we reached the agreement, payroll was already completed and was closed. You know, payroll system goes through a certain process. There are times that the window is open and there are times that it is closed. So as workers, we knew that because of the fact that at the time we finished the negotiations, the payroll was completed, and therefore it was not possible to pay it in July. But obviously, the expectation of all of us is that the payment will be done in August, together with the arrears for the July payment. Then we could go ahead. So that is what has happened. It could not be paid in July for very reasonable and obvious reasons. But the good thing was that we were able to conclude the negotiations on it and had come to a 15% increment for cola. So that is the current situation.
And was this the impression many of you had as leadership of organized labor at the time you were signing the agreement?
Well, at the time we were signing the agreement, we were hoping that some allowance could be made so that it could be paid in July as well. But for us, or for me as General Secretary of Public Services Workers Union, I believe that we must let the systems we have put in place in terms of handling these things also run. And there was no need to disrupt that system or cause any disruption of that system. You know, the controller system also has its own challenges, and any attempt to try to maybe disrupt may also cause other problems, which will come back to affect us as workers as well. So there was no need to rush the system at the time, because the period or the window had closed at that time. But like I said, another payroll season for August is up, and we are hopeful and expecting that the appropriate entries, once there's been agreement on what is to be paid, and as I heard the Chief Executive of Fair Wages say, they have also put in place all the modalities and everything. And I'm happy he said he will not announce it here because they know what to do. Yes, they know what to do. So they'll go through the right process, let us know that they have completed and they are made the input. And we are expecting the payment to start in August.
Well, I was asking the question because your group was the latest at the time to have declared some, warning that you may lay down your tools if government does not pay the allowance. So what will this mean? A further delay in the payments? What will it mean for the industrial action that you were set to embark on at the time the MOU was signed?
All right. So at the signing of the MOU, I believe the Secretary General, our leader, spoke on our behalf and made it clear that with that understanding we have reached, our action, which was to come on the following Tuesday, and all other strike actions that were planned regarding the issue of the cola had been called off. And we have also called that off accordingly in the spirit of good faith. We have no reason to believe that government will want us to get back to that. And I think that the process will work, the system will work. That's the good faith we expect.
Yeah, but your patience is being tested now. How much time do you have?
No, I think the window for August has not been closed. So I would not jump to that conclusion for now. But I can assure you, if it is not paid in August, then it changes the dynamics. And then we will meet. Our structures will meet. But I would not advise or suggest to government that they let that happen. I know they know what to do. The National Security Minister himself was in the meeting, and I believe that his men have picked up appropriate signals on the ground at the time what was happening. None of us want to put this country into any situation that may make our current circumstances even worse than it is. So I believe, together with the National Security Ministry, the Labor Ministry, the Fair Wages, and all major stakeholders, my colleagues in the other labor groups, I believe the best thing is for government to do all it can to make sure that it is paid for August.
All right.
And like I said, the payroll has not closed yet. It will be dealt with, and I am very confident that government will want to avoid any unnecessary disturbance in our industrial relations system, so that we can concentrate on bringing this country back to where it should be.
Let's see what happens in the coming days, but I'm so grateful that you've been able to spend some time with us. Bernard J, General Secretary of the Public Sector Workers Union. Well, we're also